Welp, I couldn't come up with anything now that I'm female manga common. All my names were stupid, so bye-bye, list! I have no avatar that can match it, my art skills aren't up to the task. There goes that idea. All that failure has made me bitter. I need a video to dig into. Ack! Who freaking threw that? Doesn't matter, let's see what we have here. This is just what I needed! Like the shiny stars, this is Stuff with Scoutfly, a guy who focuses on cartoons, and this is his 5 forgotten Nickelodeon cartoons that no one ever remembers. How arrogant and clickbaity. The title's the high point here, people. Let's get this over with. What have I gotten myself into?
Well, it's Friday. What are you guys gonna do this weekend? Are you going to see Suicide Squad? I heard it's, pretty f***ing awful, I guess to put it lightly. I haven't seen it. If you have seen it, leave me a comment. Was it good or bad? I'm probably going to be going to see it in a few days here, and, yeah.
This is literally just padding. This isn't a vlog. It's a video about 5 forgotten Nickelodeon cartoons. Get on with it.
Okay, so at number 5 we got SpongeBob, Hey Arnold, Cat Dog, Rugrats, and Invader Zim. Bye guys!
That joke was poorly paced. If you're going to do a triggered joke with the keyframes and shaking around, you probably should have made yourself move much more sporadically and at a faster speed, because with what you do put in, it feels too slow for the joke to pack a punch.
What is wrong with me? But no, here we go. Actually getting into it now. At number 5 we have Mr. Meaty.
We aren't even a second into this entry and there's already a problem. I'll give you guys a second at home to figure it out. Figure it out yet? For the ones who didn't get it, it's that Mr. Meaty is not a cartoon. It's a puppet-based show like The Muppets or Sesame Street, aka not animated. You can't put a not cartoon on a list of forgotten cartoons. I guess you can make an argument that the characters look very cartoon-like, but that's not the medium Mr. Meaty is in. Going by the definition of cartoon, it does not fit.
Mr. Meaty is a show I really don't know where to put on my channel. Is it live action? Is it a cartoon? Well, honestly, it's kind of like neither of both. It's just
if you
Mr.
yourself
Meaty,
don't know if it classifies as a cartoon, don't put it on the list.
If you like really weird stuff like Invader Zim, I highly recommend you check out Mr. Meaty. Granted, the shows are completely different, but they just have a really interesting vibe that I feel relates between the two of them, so...
That right there? That killed your argument. They aren't the same type of weirdness. It's a false comparison. Invader Zim was loved because of its dark humor, while Mr. Meaty is more crude in its humor. Holy crap, you can't do that.
Okay, so now moving on to number 3, we have El Tigre, and this is a show that literally no one ever seems to talk about. I know there's gonna be that one guy in the comments that's like, I remember the show, it was my favorite. Justin, you're stupid. Thanks.
I remembered this show. Justin, you're stupid. But on to why this is an actually bad segment. You contradict yourself. Well, make room, Serpa, we have another person who needs amputation. While we currently haven't gotten to it yet, you joke about people remembering the show, then at the end of the segment you ask if they remembered the show. That just makes my brain spin.
But no, El Tigre is a show that I remember actually being really decent, other than the fact that I feel like it's kind of like subtly racist in a few ways, I guess. It just has weird undertones of being like over stereotypical. Have you guys ever played the game Guacamelee? It's kind of like that.
Please correct me if I'm wrong, but unless you're Mexican, I don't think you have a right to say if something is racist or not. This is a touchy subject for sure, and I don't claim to be an expert. Isn't it possible that they use the stereotypes to go over the top and be satirical about it? Last time I checked, it was a comedy-based show to begin with, and the creators are Mexican. And when I asked around, George Raccoon told me it wasn't. So... there's also the fact that you can't poke fun at things in your own culture, and the Guacamelee comparison irks me the wrong way as well, because if you played the game, it clearly draws inspiration from Mexican culture and folklore. And if El Tigre is the same way, then it's not really racist now, is it? Don't go making assertions on something you have no knowledge about.
If you can look past that, it really wasn't the worst show. There were much worse things you could watch on Nickelodeon at the time, and back in the day, looking back at it, El Tigre wasn't really a bad show, and it actually stuck around for a little bit, but it just really is kind of forgotten, I feel. No one really talks about it. It had a really successful run, I guess you could say, compared to a lot of the other shows on this list, but other than that, everyone's just like... yeah, what was that?
It was treated better than other shows and had a successful run. If you mean it was allowed to end without being forced to turn out seasons like Fairly Odd Parents or SpongeBob, I agree with you. If you mean it got a few seasons, that's wrong. It only ran for one season of 26 episodes, and compared to back in the Barnyard, which got 2 seasons of 52 episodes. But I don't know what you mean. Do you know what you mean? Does Santa know what you mean? Does Teddy know what you mean? What?
So, do you remember El Tigre? Leave me a comment, let me know. Okay, so number 2 on my list is Tak and the Power of Juju, a show I've talked about here on the channel before, and this show no one ever seems to remember, and a lot of people, when I actually initially talked about this here on my channel, didn't even know it was a TV show.
Wait, how much research did you actually do when it comes to people forgetting about these shows? Because a later line tells me you only looked at your comment section, and last time I checked, that's not a good resource. Do we need to put you in Research 100? Get this man a desk and a laptop. I need to teach him a thing or two.
But before we do get to number 1, I want to talk about one honorable mention, and that's Cat Scratch. Cat Scratch is a show that happened years and years ago, but this is one of those shows that I feel like everyone seems to forget about, and it was actually really good. I really enjoyed this show. The 3 main characters I thought actually pretty hilarious back in the day, and this looks like a show that would totally hold up in 2016, and I wish they would bring it back. I just don't really see them bringing a show like this back, because this show, yes, was random, but it had random down to a science, and they're just kind of interested in shows that are just random. For the sake of being random. I really enjoyed Cat Scratch. I thought it was a fun little cute show, but I really don't think a lot of people talk about this one, and when they do talk about it, it is so few and far between, and it's kind of sad because it was really great. Do you remember Cat Scratch? Let me know.
You know, when people have honorable mentions in their lists, it's usually a brief segment talking about it, but you go on and give about as much detail as you do with the other segments, so this could have been an entire entry in and of itself. The title is a misnomer. It's really 6 forgotten cartoons. How dare you lie to me, Justin?
Okay, so going over to number 1, we have a show I have literally never seen a comment for in any of my videos. Not a single comment. Not one.
There it is. There's the line that makes me question how much research you did when putting this list together. Looking at your comments section is not a good research source.
At the end of the day, have you seen any of these shows? Leave me a comment in the comment section down below and let me know. Yes, no, maybe. Do you want to check some of them out? Like I said, let me know.
There's something that's popped up throughout the list, and I haven't mentioned it until now because it would have gotten redundant. But now allow me to explain. You ask for people to leave comments in the intro for all 5 entries plus the honorable mention, which could have been another entry in and of itself, and one more time at the end. Do you not see how repetitive that is? If you were going to ask if your audience remembered any of these shows at the end anyway, what was the point of asking at the end of each segment? I know my English teacher said that repetition was a good tool, but I don't think they meant it like this. This isn't overkill, it's beating it until there's nothing left to salvage anymore. You're so hungry for comments, it's like you haven't eaten in weeks. That's not a healthy diet, good sir. If you'd like, I do CrossFit and as such try to have a healthy lifestyle, so if you just step this way, we can get you set up with a meal plan. And by judging the comments of your video, unless all of them were being smug douches, a lot of people remembered these shows on your list. Heck, I knew about all these shows and I watched all of them in some degree growing up. Final thoughts time. My main problem with this list is that you seem to not look very hard for evidence that people remembered these shows. The only evidence I have that you even looked in the first place was you mentioning your comments section, which doesn't fly and shows that you are lazy. And the begging for comments was really obnoxious to listen to after every segment. Seriously, dude, I think you have a problem and we need to get you into rehab ASAP. Get out of your bubble and look further than what you can see. It'll do you some good. And that's another video done. Teddy, why are you still here? I don't have a place to stay. Okay, I guess you could stay here then. But don't get in the way of my commentaries, they're very serious business. Oh, thank you, Sensei! Ah, you're welcome.